This episode of the SlooPcast is brought to you by the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. The Mad Canadian Barbecue Company is an Ohio-based company located in Cary, Ohio, where they say our seasoning will take your barbecue from good to great. Mad Canadian was in Cary this Thursday, so you'll have to catch the Mad Canadian again next week. So be sure to check out Monday and Tuesday's episode to find out where he and his food truck will be heading to next. Now, I want to show you, for the YouTube folks here, and Jared, you can pull this up here, one of the amazing options that the Mad Canadian has from time to time. It is his fish taco. It has street corn in it. It has some coleslaw in it. You can get baked beans. Just look at that for a moment and don't tell me that it does not look good, because it's making me hungry just looking at it right now. You can get this, you can get briskets, you can get ribs, all sorts of great food that the Mad Canadian has to offer. And be sure to check out his social media for more information about him and his food truck. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, who are the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the SlooPcast also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. The Iron Bean Coffee Company is a world-class hand-roasted micro-batch coffee company. All orders are fresh roast to order. All beans are fair trade certified. All beans are USDA organic. They are based out of Perrysburg, Ohio. Which is near Toledo. They are a Marine-owned, a veteran-owned company, and they import all of their high-quality coffee beans from Colombia, Brazil, Uganda, Honduras, Peru, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and other far-off lands. Gift cards are available because we know Christmas is coming. And you get free shipping over $50. And if you know you have that real coffee drinker in your life and you know what kind of coffee they like, you can sign them up for subscribe and save service. So you can find your new favorite coffee, or maybe a loved one's new favorite coffee, over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
How you doing today, Jared?
That that's the thing that we're supposed to do when the show starts.
Well, how's YouTube doing?
You can't do that now.
How's YouTube doing? How is the SloopCats doing today?
Okay, well, only Buckeye Esquire is answering you so far. Oh, Ganglang with a quick one-worder snuck it in under there.
Yeah, I'm tired too. Still a little jet lagged, but we're here. We're ready to do some SlooPicks today, so let's get into it, Jared.
All right, let's do that. We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the SlooPcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Ooh, I'm doing well, Jared. How are you? That didn't look normal there.
What?
Did you like burp or something, or?
It was like right here, and I thought it was gonna come, but then it didn't, and yeah, it was a whole thing. Let's not talk about my gas. Let's not do that.
All right. Moving on. Today is.
It's still gas.
Today is
one hole or the other. It's still gas.
All right. I'm just going to move on here. Today's is our weekly Sloop Picks, where we cover six games, other than the Ohio State game, which you can listen to on our Wednesday's episode.
Not reading any of that out loud.
Our chat is all shenanigans today, so let's jump right into it, Jared. But first, I put this in Kyle's corner here, but I'm going to talk about it first because we got some recruiting news, Jared. We got a
yes,
boom.
We do.
We got a boom alert as we're recording here.
Joshua, guys, get some booms in the chat, please.
Yeah, Joshua Padilla. Padilla?
Oh, you wouldn't be the SlooPcast if we said it right on our first try. Although I have said his name before, although I won't swear that any of those were pronounced correctly.
Yeah, from Dayton, Ohio, a lineman, more specific, from Wayne High School. He is in the composite, he is the 9th best interior offensive lineman, or center, maybe.
Center guard, guard center.
Yep, and the 4th best in the state of Ohio for the 2023 class.
Absolutely. Huge get for Ohio State. Especially if you compare this, that sounded like I said compare. Can pair this with just up the is that 79, Kyle? Up 79 up into Finley, where you can 75. Damn it.
Close.
Go up 70. I'm from the eastern half. Kyle's from the western half. Up to Finley and get Luke Montgomery. If you can get those pair of Ohio State offensive linemen in the 2023 class, that's an amazing start to that recruiting class, and maybe making up for a few misses in the 2022 offensive line recruiting class. So an awesome start. Second player so far of the 2023 class. We've been focused a lot on the 2022 class lately, and for good reason. Because we're creeping up on the early National Signing Day. That's less than 2 months away at this point. But yeah, a big win for the 2023 class.
Yeah, absolutely here. All right. SlooPicks, Jared.
SlooPicks.
We have games this week. Some good, some not so good, but we got some games we're going to pick here. So
We're
let's start,
picking some
start off-
games. We don't have
we
to
got
put a
some
value.
games.
We don't have to put a value judgment on it.
We
don't
have
know they're good
football.
until they happen, right?
We have football.
We
is what
do have football.
As Gangland said. All right, we got Wake Forest and UNC. Now, before I say what Vegas has here, Jared.
Yeah.
Wake Forest is undefeated, right?
They sure are.
And UNC has multiple losses, right?
Multiple, yes. 4. They're a 500 football team.
So does that mean that UNC should be favored? Because they are, Jared. They are favored by 2.5 points in this game.
Welcome to the ACC, buddy. Welcome to the ACC. Although this same thing almost exactly happened with Wisconsin and Iowa last week. So
yeah,
those in glass houses, I guess.
Yeah. So I see you already wrote yours down here, Jared.
I did.
So looks like both Jared and I are picking the same. We're both picking Wake Forest here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you start.
I'm playing the when in doubt game here. I'm going with Wake Forest because they are per Vegas, not per anyone else, but per Vegas, the underdog. So that's where I'm going. Because I think whatever this game is, I think it's close. That's basically what I'm boiling this game down to. Whatever it is, however it goes, I think it's close. That's how I'm feeling it. If you look at the points per game, Wake Forest is a little over 40. North Carolina is a little under 40. Their defenses are relatively comparable. They both have good quarterbacks. Yeah, I think you just sort of go with the underdog on this one. I feel like these are very comparable football teams.
Yeah,
Who's
feel like
your Buck says, yeah, they're both bad.
Yeah, I have Wake Forest here. I just feel more comfortable with Wake Forest's offense than North Carolina. Now, so that if this was at the beginning of the year, I definitely would have said North Carolina based out of what expectations for UNC was with.
Yeah, they were picked
with
to go to the
with Mac
playoff
Brown
game.
And the players that they had returning here, but
Sam Howell.
Yeah, North Carolina 4-4 this year. Not the type of season they're expecting here. So I'll take Wake Forest. I'll take Wake Forest here.
Our guest picker this week is Gangland. Gangland is picking North Carolina. He's in our live chat, and he says he's playing the Mac Brown game. He's picking the team with Mac Brown. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy.
Yes. All right. We're going Midwest here. We're going to Big Ten country here, and can't get much more Big Ten than Sparty and Purdue.
I'm sorry,
This is
Kyle.
a
Hold on. I'm sorry. Pause.
3:30.
Pause. I need you to pause. Our first game, Wake Forest and North Carolina. Our second game is Purdue and Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Is this still a football podcast?
Yeah,
Is this still a football podcast? Sorry. I'm sorry. I thought this was a football podcast.
Sparty, just verifying. Yep, Sparty, when we lock them in, is a 2.5-point favorite. I'm not sure why they're not favored by more. It could be a letdown week. It definitely could be a letdown week, Gangland. You beat little brother, and you could have a letdown week. This is the perfect game for Purdue to spoil Michigan State here. But I'm going to trust one of or maybe the second best running back in the Big Ten in Michigan State here. So I'll pick Sparty because of their running back.
And that's fair. I'm also going Michigan State here. We all know what Purdue is capable of, right? People always like to talk about the Pitt super weapon. The Pitt super weapon has nothing on the Purdue super weapon. Nothing on it. Purdue is the team that upsets teams. That's what they are. That's what they do.
Michigan State needs to end this game early before it gets nighttime.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I would highly recommend that. That being said, Kyle, it was only a week ago. It was exactly a week ago. Tony Gerdman and I were sitting here, and we were asked the question. I believe it was Hoosier that asked us the question, but someone correct me if I'm mistaken. Asked us the question: who's the most overrated, or who's the worst team in the top 15, or who's the most overrated team? I forget the exact wording. And Tony and I sort of him-hawed around it, and I said, if we're weighting it by how far up in the top 15 they are, then I would say it's probably Sparty. And Tony's like, yeah, probably. And sitting here now, I don't know that I agree with myself. Maybe it's time to start believing in Sparty. Maybe it's time.
This would definitely be a game I'd be interested in watching, just to kind of prepare ourselves to see what Michigan State will throw at Ohio State in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh, these are Ohio State's next two games.
That too. Yep.
So it's a must-watcher for you Ohio State fans out there.
Indeed. All right, we're going to keep
Gangland
going.
Picks Purdue going against us on that. Kyle, first two games so far, we both picked the same. Gangland went opposite. Let's see how this goes.
All right, we're going Big 12 country, but we're going to go east to West Virginia, where they host Oklahoma State. Yeah, you think about that, Jared. Oklahoma State is a 3.5-point favorite over 4-4 West Virginia.
All of these numbers are weird.
Or
maybe it's the football. Maybe it's the football season that's weird, if we're being honest.
I don't know. Yes, West Virginia has the opportunity to pull up an upset here. They've done it once already this year. But I'm going to stick with Oklahoma State in this one. I'll take the points here, and take the Cowboys in orange.
No. I'm going West Virginia here. Is West Virginia actually any good? No, they aren't. But I've been on the Oklahoma State is actually terrible train all year, and now is the time. Now is the time that everyone knows it. Like, they already lost to Iowa State, of course. But they have West Virginia now. They have Oklahoma at the end of the year. They lose 2 more times. I guarantee you, they lose 2 more times before the end of the regular season. They will lose to Oklahoma, and they will lose, I think, this weekend against West Virginia, but maybe it's someone else. But I think that I think this game's like 50-50. I think this game's like 50-50, and therefore give me the underdog. To give me the Mountaineers.
Interesting. Yeah. These first 3 games here, you got teams with undefeated and a team with 1 loss versus teams that are 500 or just above 500.
Yeah.
But yet they're so close in the Vegas lines here.
Undefeated Wake versus 500 UNC. Yeah. Undefeated Michigan State versus barely over 500 Purdue. And then you have Oklahoma State, who is, we just talked about it. By the way, just looking at the CBS acronym for Oklahoma State, because that's where we do our SlooPicks through the CBS poll picker. The way they shorten Oklahoma State is okay last. And that's how I feel about the Cowboys. Okay last.
It's funny.
Kyle, that's 3 games. That's 3 games. So I think that means it's time to do another ad read, which will be our last ad read of the show. So, do you want to go first, or am I going first? How are we doing it?
I'll go here.
All right,
Mad Canadian Barbecue Company wants me to tell you all that moving forward right now, the Mad Canadian will be doing the barbecue and bingo every Thursday at the OLC Shrine Cafeteria from 4 to 7 p.m. every Thursday. So be sure to hit them up next Thursday, again in Cary at the OLC Shrine Cafeteria, to get some of that delicious barbecue and other great sides that the Mad Canadian has. Great briskets. Just looking down the list here of what else he has. Talked about fish tacos that he makes. He has ham, pulled pork, brisket again. It seems like everybody loves the brisket there. A lot of people like the coleslaw, the baked beans, the corn there. Just everything that the Mad Canadian has to offer, just get it all. Just get everything that he has on the menu there. Be sure to check out his social media for more information about him and his food truck and where he might be heading to next. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, who are the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
Kyle, I'm going to ask you a favor. Say medium, dark, or flavored.
Medium, dark, or flavor?
No. Say what?
Flavor.
Say, you smart ass. You smart ass. I swear to God. All right, let's take a look at the flavored coffees over at ironbeancoffee.com. The Bananas Foster, Kyle, the Bananas Foster back in stock. So if you were worried that Bananas Foster was gone forever, it is not. I do regret to inform you, however, the cinnamon roll still sold out. The Mom's Carrot Cake still sold out. But guess what is back in stock? The white chocolate peppermint, Kyle. It hasn't been in stock for months.
Ooh,
for months. It has not been in stock for months. You can now get the white chocolate peppermint coffee. How exciting is that? I assume it's seasonal. I should ask that question, but hey, you think they sent you some in the Unicorn Gangland? That's pretty rad. That would be amazing if you just got some white chocolate peppermint coffee in the Unicorn, because the Unicorn, see what I did there? The Unicorn, the description here is, who the hell knows what kind of coffee it is? It's probably going to be a flavored coffee. Oh, look at this. This is new. He has listed here on the site some of the things it has been in the past. In the past, it's been a bourbon praline pie. It has been a gingerbread latte. It has been a frosted pumpkin roll, a caramel rum crunch, a strawberry marshmallow, a winter raspberry swirl. But who knows? you might get Gangland just said he thinks he got some peppermint and white chocolate. Who the hell knows what it's going to be? That's the adventure of the unicorn. You can get those flavored coffees. There's a bunch of flavored coffees I didn't even mention, and then there's just even more unflavored coffees that you can pick up for yourself over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster. There we go,
Jared.
Kyle. We got 3 more games.
Last three games. So we're going to head south now. We're going. Oh, actually, it's in Texas. Darn you, SEC, trying to go westward. We got Auburn and Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 4.5-point favorite. I believe they are both. Yep, this is they're ranked 13 and 14th here. But Texas A&M at home is a 4.5-point favorite. I have Texas A&M at Kyle Field. Nice name. I'll take the points here.
Yeah, that I totally get that. I totally understand that. In fact, I agree with it. I will also take Texas A&M. 4.5, not quite enough. I think if this ventured even into like 6.5 territory, I may have been a little more concerned. But at 4.5, I'm gonna take Texas A&M. I like them significantly more than I like Auburn. The fact that they beat Ole Miss means nothing to me. The fact that they beat Arkansas means nothing to me. I don't care how well ranked those teams were. They were never actually good. And in the past 3 games, we've seen Texas A&M beat Alabama. And even if this isn't the best Alabama we've seen in the past few years, it's still the team that out-recruits everyone. It's still an insanely talented team. It's still Bama, damn it. So, and then, their next 2 games were against completely overmatched opponents in Missouri and South Carolina, but they did what you should do against those teams and made the game non-competitive. So, yes, I'm going to take Texas A&M. The 4.5 is not going to scare me off. And Gangland feels the same. He's going to go ahead and pick Texas A&M as well.
All right. Speaking of teams that are overrated, I think Auburn is overrated. Their only good win they have is against Arkansas. Maybe it's Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. I don't like either of those. I think both those teams are overrated, but Ole Miss is still a lot better than Arkansas, in my opinion.
Okay. I still don't like Auburn. All right, we're heading back to Big Ten country here. We're going to have Indiana taking on Michigan.
It's at Texas A&M. Kyle said it was at Kyle Field. Remember, he made the whole thing because it's his name.
Indiana taking on Michigan. Michigan looking to bounce back after their loss to their big brother. Michigan is a 19.5-point favorite.
Indiana versus Michigan. I must again ask you, Kyle, is this still a football podcast? That's I almost made Kyle spit bourbon on that one.
Nice.
All right. Indiana, Michigan. Michigan, huge favorite here. Almost 20 points, 19.5 points. This is being played in Michigan Stadium. Indiana, we were defending Indiana a while back, right? They go on a 4-game losing streak. And Penn State, very good football team. Michigan State, very good football team. Ohio State, very good football teams. And we're like, yeah, they lost these 3 straight games, but look at the quality of the opponent. And then they go and they lose to Maryland, and it's just like, well, fine. Lose to Maryland, Indiana. The hell are you doing? I still believe this is one of the better 2-6 football teams you're going to find in the country, which granted is not a high hurdle to hurdle. I get that. But Kyle, I still have to take Indiana here. 20 points just feels like too much. We've not seen Michigan blow out many teams this year. If we take a look at the Michigan schedule against Big Ten opponents, They beat Rutgers by 7. They beat Wisconsin by 21. They beat and Wisconsin hadn't put their stuff together yet at that point. They beat Nebraska by 3. They beat Northwestern by that would be 20. Math is hard sometimes. Point is that I feel like if you're comparing like what Ohio State's been doing to teams versus what Michigan's been doing to teams, Ohio State, against common opponents is performing much better, and 20 points is just a lot. It's just a lot for an offense that I don't feel great about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That being said, I don't think Indiana has Penix back either, which really hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the Hoosiers to cover here. Same thing with Jared said. 19.5 is a lot to try to cover. And the way that Michigan's been playing lately, almost lost to Nebraska. They had a comfortable lead to their big brother and lost to. I almost think that Michigan is just going to kind of just not elevate anymore the rest of the season. They have their one loss to their rival, in-state rival, and I think I don't know. I just don't have confidence in this Michigan team anymore. So I'll take the Hoosiers here.
You ever did?
All right, you got me.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Michigan still wins this game by like 14 points, by 17 points. But
by
19 and a half just feels like a little too much. But Kyle Gangland disagrees with you. He doesn't think Indiana can do anything. He doesn't think Indiana can score. So he's picking Michigan to win and cover.
I think Gangland's is a closet Michigan fan.
How that's a low, Kyle. Kyle, apologize.
Hey, he said that before to me. He said that to me before.
Oh, okay. Turnabout's fair play. That's fine.
Love you still, Gangland. All right. Last game we have here.
Can it be slander if it's not your real name? Yeah. Actually, yeah. Get Buckeye Esquire in on this. Can it be slander if it's not your real name?
All right, Jared. We have one more game. Yeah, and apparently this is the Herb Street special. Oregon and Washington. Just looking at this game before real quick because I have no idea how Washington's doing. And yeah, hey, look at this, Jared. Another 4-4 team.
Yeah.
Taking
against
on a one-loss team. And, it's less than a touchdown. Oregon is a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Vegas knows what they're doing, Jared. But I'm questioning this week, though.
Tony and I had the same conversation last week, and then I proceeded to not have the best of weeks ever. Although I still caught up to you.
Yeah, see. I have Oregon. I have Oregon in this one. I just have no confidence in Washington being able to put up points because that's what they're going to need to do against Oregon here. In the past few games here, 20, 21, 17, and then 24 in their past 4 games here. They got to put up like at least 30 points to have a chance against Oregon here. And I just don't see it. I think Oregon is just going to have their way here and be able to score 40 plus points on this Washington team. So at least a 10-point victory if Washington is able to score points. So I'll pick Oregon to cover.
Buckeye Esquire, the question. Oh, I don't think you think he's just chatting in here. I don't know if he's listening. So I'll fill him in later. Here's what it comes down, and like I could do a whole thing here. They've both played UCLA recently. They've both played Arizona somewhat recently. They've both played Stanford recently. The Pac-12 is not very, you know what I mean? Like there's not a long list of teams in the Pac-12. There's a lot of common recent opponents here. is what I'm trying to say. And I could do a whole thing. But ultimately, what it comes down to for me is that Washington lost to an FCS school.
There's that too. Yep.
You don't lose to an FCS school and then have me put my hard-earned money on you. It just doesn't happen. Give me Oregon.
All right. And we have Gangland choosing Oregon as well to cover. Is that our first game? I think that's our first game we all agreed, Jared. No, we did all three pick Texas A&M too.
I think Esquire just gave Gangland permission to sue me. Or you, rather. Why did I just assume it was me? It's you.
All right.
So,
anything else?
good luck with that.
So, looking at these games here, chaos. It is November. It is the month of chaos. It is the month of chaos here.
It's been a season of chaos.
Do we see any potential chaos in this week here?
For sure.
Could Illinois pull up an upset at the Gophers?
Well, I mean, I don't think we have to look too far past our SlooPicks here. You were just talking about how you have all of these highly ranked teams with very small spreads.
Mm-hmm.
We have a high potential for chaos this week.
Yep. UNC over Wake, Purdue over Michigan State,
West Virginia over Oklahoma State. Auburn and Texas A&M are about the same, and they both have 2 losses, so no chaos potential there. I don't see Indiana upsetting Michigan. I don't see much chaos potential there, but Washington is less than a touchdown dog to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
You have some possibility there. Kyle, you were just saying,
what about we have a team playing an armed forces team, Navy in Notre Dame?
No, Navy makes teams look bad, but the teams still end up winning. Yeah. That's typically how Navy or Army games go.
That's fair.
So people were like, oh, this will be a game that we think chaos might happen, that we'll keep an eye on, but ultimately Notre Dame ends up winning.
So I've been giving this team a lot of credit throughout the season, but maybe the Seminoles over the Wolfpack. Seminoles have been playing better than they had at the beginning of the year. Maybe an upset at home against the Wolfpack.
Pass.
Okay.
I'm passing on that one. Kyle, for God's sakes, let's not talk about any more ACC schools.
You want to talk about Pac-12 teams?
No, not
some
especially.
Pac-12 after dark?
That depends. Do you want to talk about Oregon some more, or are you going elsewhere? Exactly. Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong. Was Oregon the only Pac-12 team to make the first playoff committee rankings?
Yeah, I'm getting only team.
I'm getting rankings or I'm getting yeses in the chat. So no, I don't want to talk about any more Pac-12. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all the picks. That is all other games we want to talk about. Anything else, Jared, before we get into some questions?
Now let's get some Ask Sloopcast questions, then let's GTFO.
All right. Nomad starting us off here in anticipation of anticipation of Cincinnati getting ranked 5th or 6th, which they did. Is it time to break the wheel?
We're team break the wheel here. We always have been. We always will be. But no one wants to listen to our radical plan to fix college football. So it is what it is until it isn't.
But if you're interested,
go to fix.thesloopcast.com and read our proposal.
All right. Another question from Nomad. You have to choose and use one stat for ranking teams. No subjectively allowed. Which do you use?
None.
The F plus?
No.
FEI or the SP plus?
None. You can't. Guys, look it up. It's called Goodhart's Law. You can't do it.
No.
Once you once you say, and this is what these formulas do, they define what a quality win is. They define what a blowout win is. Okay. How do you do that? Well, if a team wins by more than 14 points, then it's considered a blowout win. Okay, well, then you're just going to have teams calling timeouts and kicking last second field goals in order to win by 14. Well, actually, it uses the Vegas number. It uses the Vegas number, and if they cover, oh, well, that's great. Let's incentivize teams to ensure they cover. That's going to go well. Once you turn a metric into a goal, once you turn a metric into a standard, it ceases to become a good metric.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work anymore. Well, Jared, just keep the formula secret. Yeah, right. You think you're going to get away with keeping the formula secret? You think people will sign on? You think the college football world will sign on to a secret formula and allow it to pick and no one knows what's in it? No one knows what's in the formula. We're going to allow it to pick the playoff teams. No one's signing up for that. And then a lot of these formulas take into account recruiting rankings. Okay, so now we're giving ESPN recruiting and 24/7 sports recruiting and rivals, we're giving them authority to help pick who gets in the playoffs. These metrics work. The S&P and a lot of these metrics work because they don't matter. The second you say they matter, they will cease to work. Goodhart's Law. Look it up.
Yep. Gangland in our chat asked, does Ohio State go after Gary Patterson for the defensive coordinator position?
Oh my God. What I just like take that possibility, melt it, put it in a needle and put it in my arm. I would love nothing more. That being said, no. I think he'll spend a year or two in television and then pick up like a big boy job. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you said to me, Jared, actually, there's late breaking news that he is accepting the LSU job, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds right. Now, would he? Is that a thing he'd be interested in? I don't know, but it's totally believable. It's totally believable that he would all of a sudden go to a place where he has money and resources and boosters and all of that. It was totally believable to me.
Mm-hmm. All right.
He's not taking a DC job is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Buckeye Zach, with Bama starting at number 2 in the college football playoff rankings, could this mean the SEC could get 3 teams in, or at least a 2-loss Alabama in at the 4 spot?
Who's the third team?
Yeah, I have no idea who the third team would be.
Who's the third team? Everyone in the SEC has 2 or more
Texas
losses.
A&M? No.
Everyone they're not putting a 2-loss anybody, Bama included, and sure as hell not Texas A&M or Auburn or Ole Miss or any of them. Sure as hell not them. I don't even think they put in a 2-loss Bama over a 1-loss Oregon, a 1 or 2 or a 0 or 1-loss Oklahoma, a 0-loss Cincinnati, a 1-loss Ohio State. No. Zero chance. Zero chance. The one rule that has held throughout all the playoffs so far is no 2-loss team has made it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got too many teams waiting right there. Not going to happen, but an undefeated Sparty, a 1-loss Pac-12 winner, a 1-loss Big Ten winner.
Hoosier, you are aware that Bama didn't go to the playoffs just last year, right?
Yeah. A undefeated Big 12 champion. There's a lot of teams right there that would get in ahead of Alabama.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago is what I meant to say.
But the question is, like, if Alabama wins a close one to Georgia, then you could definitely see a two SEC team in it.
Two SEC teams, sure. So like we can have the argument about a 2-loss Bama maybe getting in if they maybe lose close to Georgia we can have that conversation. I'm going to say no, absolutely not. We can have that conversation. But if you want to have a conversation with me about a 2-loss Auburn or a 2-loss Ole Miss or a 2-loss Texas A&M, not happening. Zero chance. No way in hell. Zero chance. No way. Not happening.
Agreed. All right, Nomad with a couple more questions. Are the two most important games for the Big Ten in the final week Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Ohio State and Teton?
No, it's Ohio State versus Michigan State and Ohio State versus Michigan. Who cares? I'm sorry, Big Ten West folk. Who cares? It's a competition to see who loses to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Is it time to row the boat?
3 teams in the top 10 are in the Big Ten East, and Ohio State hasn't played the other 2 yet.
And the other 3 teams in the Big Ten West are 20, 21, and 22.
Yeah. So no, it's not. I don't care what happens in the West. It's even if it's not Ohio State, even if it's Sparty, even if it's Michigan, whoever it is that ends up representing the East, they win they're winning. The East is winning the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. Kabuto asks, pretend your promotion / relegation plan will never happen.
It won't.
Which group of 5?
Fix.thesloopcast.com.
Which group of 5 have their own playoff and or separate rankings?
You're admitting defeat if you do that. Which honestly, I think like there comes a point in time in which that might happen. I think there comes a point in time, even if they don't use Kyle and I's system of relegation and promotion, fix.thesloopcast.com, then I still think you eventually see. I think the Big 12 dies. I think the Big 12, if it happens now, if it happens later, the Big 12 dies. You will see the remaining good teams, and I say good, not great. The remaining good teams of the Big 12 will scatter to the other conferences. Some of them won't. You will have 4 major conferences, and this is assuming that the Pac-12 survives. It might not.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is assuming the Pac-12 survives. And you end up with 4 conferences. We're heading towards 4 conferences. Those 4 conferences at that point would be stupid in my mind not to then turn themselves into a semi-pro league, break off from the NCAA, and just play among themselves.
Yep.
I think it's dumb not to.
All right, one last question from Gabudo here. Would the college football playoff rankings release be more fun if they never gave any explanation, Gary Barta, and we just watched the world scream?
Well, first I want to say this. One of my absolute least favorite things about the entire playoff system, and like there are things to choose from, right? Like we got stuff to choose from here. One of my least favorite things about the playoff system is the chairperson interview. Why? Because we like hyper analyze every little thing he says. Oh, well, he said that they had them above them because of this. The man is attempting to summarize. He is attempting to portray the consensus opinion of 13 people. How do you, in a sentence or two, describe the independent feeling of 13 people in a sentence or two? You can't. It's an impossible task. You know, the committee, we like to say, well, the committee does this and the committee does that, and this is how the committee thinks, and this is what the committee wants to see. Okay, you realize that's 13 people, 13 individuals with 13 separate opinions. And on top of that, we rotate about a third of them every year.
Mm-hmm.
So like every 3 or 4 years, it's a completely new committee. So people are like, I want consistency. I wish the playoff committee was more consistent. I wish they were more consistent. It's impossible. Do you want to ensure that these 13 people are thinking the exact same way as the 13 people from 3 years ago? That's an impossible ask too. They're new people. You can't expect new people to have the exact same thought process as the old people. And then, like I said, there's 13 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's this is the system we're playing in. Like I said, though, if we get to the point where we can get like 4 conferences and they break away, then those 4 conferences can have their conference championship games and they can decide that however they want. And then those 4 champions can go into a 4-team playoff, no committees, no nothings. You don't need it. You just have 4 conference championships. So that's 8 teams. Then you have 4 conference champions. And then that becomes your 4-team playoff. It's easy. You just need the Big 12 to die first.
It's the E and ESPN.
It's also the S with the dollar sign. It's also the D for Disney.
Yeah. All of that.
By the way, can we all just stop watching the playoff committee show? Can we just stop watching it? It's just a television product for ESPN. These committee rankings don't matter. They don't matter. Stop watching it. It doesn't matter. It's a television product for ESPN. There's zero reason why the committee needs to give out rankings until the last one, other than to make Disney more money.
Yeah, that's fair. I never really cared about what the chairman said. I mean, I'll watch just to say, oh, I'm curious on how they how they ranked, and that's it.
Well, but the thing is, the show comes on at 7. I'll jump on Twitter at like 7:15, and then I'll see the rankings, and it's just way easier that way.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Jared, that's all the questions we have here today. Let's go ahead and kick us off.
That's it for today's show. Everyone, please visit discord.thesloopcast.com. Me, gangland. And also, please visit survey.thesloopcast.com. Please visit survey.thesloopcast.com. It's 5 questions. Excuse me. It's a 5-minute quiz. It'll take you like, guys, why can't I talk? It's a 5-minute quiz. It's made up of only 10%. God, I saw you say percent down there, and I can't. I really just can't right now. Kyle, do you want to talk for me? Because I can't.
You're doing great, Jared. You're doing great.
Thank you. That's what I needed. It's 10 questions. It'll take you 5 minutes. See, it wasn't even that hard. It's 10 questions. It'll take you 5 minutes. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't need to provide an email address. You don't need to make an account. It's super easy. It asks nothing of you other than like 5 minutes in your opinion. And it's just going to help us figure some stuff out, maybe determine the direction of the show, a few other things. So please just check out survey.thesloopcast.com. And when you're done with that, come on over to discord.thesloopcast.com, because that's where we hang out now, because Twitter sucks and we have fun there. So come hang out, discord.thesloopcast.com. Kyle, that's it. You already did Kyle's Corner? You moved it to the beginning of the show this week. It's your corner. I guess you can do with it whatever you want.
No, just good luck to my alma mater as they move on to week 2 of the Ohio high school football playoffs. How's your school doing, Jared? Do you know?
I don't.
Well,
I don't know.
They're in the second week. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah. That I knew. Has it only been 1 week?
Yep.
This has been a long week, man. This has been a long week. Yeah, I know they won their first. They beat Licking Valley. last week. So yeah, they are on to,
And
to
they
round
play
2.
Carlton.
Don't know them.
I know Columbus Grove plays Liberty Center. And
Kyle,
just
you
for
were just
you,
bound and determined to make this episode an hour long.
and this is for the Mad Canadian. Mad Canadians Cary High School plays Defiance Tenora.
There you go. Tonight's ending music will be brought to you by Andrew Gibbard. I believe I'm pronouncing that name right. Andrew Gibbard. He has an album right now that is in pre-release. It's in pre-release. I'm going to link to the Bandcamp page for it. It's in pre-release. You can buy the full thing on December 3rd. The name of the album is called Homemade. Homemade. It's Andrew Gibbard. Podcast folk, just stay right where you're at. You'll hear this song. For the YouTube people, check out the show notes where you can just click on it and then you can listen to the song that way. And also, I'm going to put the survey.thesloopcast link down there in the show notes as well. But with all of that being said, I would like everyone to support. Nope, that's not how I say it. Kyle, I can't today. Drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Andrew Gibbard.